If you clicked on this thinking you know what hypnosis is supposed to sound like, take a deep breath, not to relax, but to get ready for what comes next. You're listening to Pop Hypnosis, and this is how to get away with being yourself. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a lecture hall. Notice the quiet buzz in the room, or maybe it's completely still. Bring to mind whatever it takes to get you to focus. Now, let's be clear. I don't know who you are, what has happened in your life, or why you decided to listen to this. But you're taking this class for a reason, so we're going to make the most of it. This class will prepare you for the courtroom of your mind using hypnosis. What we're talking about here isn't some Hollywood version of hypnosis. It doesn't control what you do. It's a state you step into willingly. In the courtroom, we use it as a tool to disarm the prosecution, that critical chatterbox inside your mind. Understood? Good. All right, let's cut to the chase. When you win against the prosecution, you start by telling the truth to yourself. Now, let me ask you this. Raise your hand if you ever found yourself navigating between showing up authentically and meeting others' expectations. Okay. Now raise your hand or keep it raised if you ever pled guilty to feeling like you were too much. Maybe you were told you were too loud or not loud enough. If you relate to one of those statements, keep your hand up, as if you're holding the weight of what it's like to be disconnected from yourself. Think about what the prosecution is accusing you of. Notice how heavy it feels to carry those accusations, how much energy it takes to hold on to them. When you're ready to let go of this impossible standard, drop all of those expectations. Let that hand fall now. Drop all of those false charges against your authentic self. Take a deep breath in. Hold that breath as if holding all of that pressure you put on yourself. And exhale, releasing every bit of tension. Take a moment to notice how it feels to release that weight. Lighter, freer. Let the record show you've been undervaluing yourself for far too long. But let's not waste time here. You're not on trial for being human or feeling the way you feel. Today, we're going to prove something to the only jury that matters, you. Today's case, authenticity versus expectations. Exhibit A. On Tuesday evening, the defendant lit a candle in a dark room. The flame wavered, but it didn't go out. The prosecution will cast doubt here, but the flame grew. It didn't ask permission. It didn't need approval. Exhibit B. The following day, the defendant crossed the bridge. GPS logs confirmed deliberate movement forward, leaving behind the fear and uncertainty, a place the prosecution swears the defendant was stuck in. Each step forward told the real story. Courage is built in motion, not in waiting for the path to feel steady. Exhibit C. Finally, the most compelling piece of evidence, the discovery of a key. This key was found in a place you least expect, buried beneath layers of doubt and hesitation. And with it, the defendant unlocked the door, a door that led to a room where they felt completely free, at peace, and fully aligned. Now that you're caught up, it's time to prepare your case. Gather the evidence, strengthen your argument. Class is dismissed. You can wake and open your eyes now. Before going to the courthouse, I want to see you in my office to study the evidence further. So stretch, take a breath, and when you're ready, close your eyes once again and refocus. Imagine entering a lawyer's office where you'll continue peeling back the layers of this case. Sense and feel the details of this office, and when you do, don't try to impress anyone. This is your space. The office might be inside a modest house with comfortable sofas and a fireplace. Or picture this, a high-rise law office with glass walls and a snack bar worthy of a firm eager to show off the wealth of their clients. If that's your vibe, own it. Either way, the office is quiet, maybe with the faint sound of a clock ticking or the hum of traffic outside. And when you take in a deep breath, you might capture the faint scent of fresh coffee in the air. Prepare to dig into the details of your testimony as you bring yourself deeper into the scene. And as you bring yourself deeper into the scene, you'll also see examination gloves on the table. Go ahead and put them on. Don't tamper with the evidence by dragging in stories from the past or fears of a future that hasn't happened yet. Look at the facts exactly as they are. Let's see what you notice. Inside a clear evidence bag is a candle. Go ahead and take the candle out. Hold it if you'd like. Now, can you tell the difference between the scent of a candle that was lit recently versus one that has been sitting untouched? Or maybe you notice the melted wax that has started to make its descent down the sides. It will be obvious to the jury that this candle was lit and could be easily lit again. Wouldn't you agree? As you hold the candle between your palms, walk through the events on record. What happened that night? Put yourself there. Really imagine it. You're lighting a candle in a dimly lit room. It takes a few tries, but eventually the flame begins to burn. Maybe it flickers a bit, but as it grows, you feel warmth radiating from your palms. Notice the glow reflecting on the walls and think of a time when you kept going, even when everything felt dark. Maybe it was getting out of bed on a hard day, picking yourself back up after a difficult time. See it clearly, like a candle flickering to life. What did it feel like to light that candle, even when the room was dark? You're starting to see the full picture, aren't you? This is proof that strength grows even from the smallest spark. After you put the candle back in the bag, it's time to take the gloves off and move on to the next piece of evidence. Take a look at the screen in the room. On it, you'll see a display of the GPS route the defendant took across the bridge that night. Clicking over to the next file, you'll see a photo taken from the security camera on that bridge, and there's a timestamp in the corner, evidence of that exact moment the first move was made. Now, think about that night and the testimony that can emerge from this. Paint that picture for the jury. You're moving on the bridge, moving forward. You're hearing the creak of wooden planks, feeling the rush of wind. You see the night sky full of stars. And you think of a moment in your life when you chose to keep going. No matter what happens, you made that move. You made the first step. This is your proof. Courage has always been a part of you. And as you can see, the case is building. We need one final piece of evidence, something so undeniable that the prosecution has no choice but to step aside. Let's look at what we've uncovered. The most compelling piece of evidence is in another clear plastic bag on the table. A single key. And this key was found in a place you least expected, buried beneath layers of doubt and hesitation. And with it, you unlocked a door that led to a room where you felt at peace and fully yourself. Pick up the bag and feel the gentle weight of the metal at the bottom. Let the evidence paint the picture once again. You have the key in your palm, and you hear the quiet click as the door unlocks. Light floods into the space as the door swings open. And as that door swings open, you can remember a moment when you felt fully yourself. No pretending, just you. And maybe it was with someone who made you feel safe, or in a place that felt like home. What does it feel like to be comfortable in your own skin? Breathe into the answer. This key proves that there was a moment in your life that unlocked that feeling, which means you can feel it again, even under the cross-examination of life's obstacles. Put a hand to your heart as if you're holding the evidence bag to your chest. This motion will serve as a reminder of your courage when you are called to speak and act authentically. The truth is that you, with all the clean and messy parts, are worthy to take up space. You have what it takes to lean into what makes you real, what makes you a unique gift on the planet. Good work. You're ready to bring this evidence to the jury. Go ahead and wake and take a break while I take this call. Or if you're comfortable, continue to sink deeper into your mind and review the evidence further. Make it quick, we're headed to the courthouse. Well, the prosecution can try, but they're buying a ticket to their next lawsuit for tampering with evidence. All they're doing is making up stories to fit their warped version of events. Let them throw their tantrum. The truth doesn't debate, it decides. All right, the prosecution will have a few tricks to try to distract you. But know this, They're not the judge or jury in this case. They have no authority over you. As the prosecution, they're just doing their jobs, but sometimes they can overplay their hand. It just means that they're scared. Let's show them what courage from a place of truth looks like. Close your eyes again if you haven't already, and review the evidence one more time. The candle, the bridge, the key. And as you review the evidence, feel a growing sense of clarity. At the count of 1, you'll walk into the double doors of the courtroom, confident in your case. 3, imagine you're wearing something that makes you feel confident, even if it's not traditional courtroom attire. That's how strong your case for authenticity is. 2, remember the evidence. Take a grounding deep breath in and out. At the count of 1, enter through those double doors now. And as you enter, it's as if you're walking fully into a more aligned and authentic version of yourself with each breath in and with each breath out. The air is thick with anticipation, the faint echo of murmurs bouncing off the walls. The noise and opinions of others only serve as reminders to anchor yourself to what matters most. Remember, you're here to tell your story, to show the jury of your mind who you really are. You are well aware of how these proceedings unfold. Naturally, every time you hear the instruction to rise, you can wake and open your eyes. And when you're told to be seated, you can sit down and close your eyes, focusing deeply on the proceedings. And just like the world around you, interruptions and competing voices may distract you when you're focused on giving an accurate testimony. Every sound of the judge's gavel, every objection may shake you awake. But notice how easy it is to go back into that focused and relaxed state. When the objection is overruled or sustained, you can simply drop back into the moment and refocus. In fact, each time you move out and into this state, you return deeper than before, even more absorbed and immersed, even more confident in your ability to win. You are called to the stand and you rise, pledging to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, before taking a deep breath in and out and sitting down to drop into this moment as you take the witness stand. Direct examination sets the scene, and the defense asks 2 important questions. The first establishes the character of the witness. The question is this: name something you like about yourself. It can be small. It can be something you're really proud of. It can be a value that you hold close to your heart, a way of being. It could be as simple as, I'm proud of making space for myself today. And as you take a moment to answer for yourself and the jury inside of your mind, feel the truth of that answer radiate through you. Feel it resonating from a thought and transforming into grounding energy that flows through your body, taking you deeper into this calm and confident state. The second question is this: what would you gain by stepping fully into your authentic self? You know from class that this establishes motive, and in this case, it's motive to support your story in the way you want to tell it. Even if people on the outside world or critics inside of your mind say otherwise. And you have every reason to be exactly who you are. That reason doesn't need to be justified by anyone. It simply exists, as true and steady as your heartbeat. That's right. I have no further questions. Let the record show the witness has claimed their story, writing it in their own terms, and the only verdict left to deliver is the truth. The prosecution, your inner critic, rises from their chair as they finish shuffling through the papers they have in front of them. They are desperately looking for ways to poke holes in your case, even if it doesn't support the evidence. They pace to the front of the witness stand, despite the fact that they're dressed in something you find absolutely ridiculous. Maybe they have on a tie or skirt with angry emojis on them. They approach with a sharp and calculated expression and say, "Let's talk about the evidence. This candle, it was barely a flicker. How can something so small prove anything? Why can't you keep it together like everyone else seems to?" Objection. Wake to the distortion here. Thank you to the prosecution for showing the court how the inner critic treats every fact like a hostile witness, twisting words and motives, trying to turn everything against you. But here's the thing. People only showed their highlight reels, not the messy parts. The truth? You're human, which means having ups and downs just like everyone else. You hear the word sustained, and on your next exhale, close your eyes and relax completely back into your power, back into the courtroom, ready for the next question. The prosecution continues. All right, so you were on the bridge that night. Be honest. You felt how the bridge creaked, and you claim this is evidence of moving forward. But what if people on the other side laugh at you? Wouldn't that make you a fraud? Objection, Your Honor. Wake up, and you don't even need to open your eyes at this point if you don't want to. You can just drop right back down and relax. The prosecution is just making up stories without any evidence whatsoever. People don't see the bridge you're crossing. They only see their own. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to live in the truth of who you are, not everyone else. Again, you hear the word sustained, like the steady and growing strength deep within, supporting your ability to face the questions of the inner critic. Sustained, deeper and deeper within as you relax even more on your next exhale. That's right. And you can tell the prosecution is getting flustered with each objection. And with each objection, you become more and more at peace with yourself. There's a thick pause as the prosecution paces back and forth. Finally, The lawyer takes the evidence bag with the key and brings it up to the witness stand, slamming it dramatically on the stand in front of you. Go ahead, examine the evidence, they tell you, and you do. Feeling the gentle weight of the key in the bag once again, you can feel the edges of the metal through the plastic. And it reminds you of that sacred place within that you always have access to, even if you feel far away from it as you cross that bridge, as you light that candle, as you face the uncertainty out in the world and perhaps within yourself. That key will always be yours. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, feel that peace, that freedom, that authentic self grow like a gentle flame, growing brighter and brighter. Focus on that flame as the prosecution continues. You found that key by accident, didn't you? Doesn't that mean it's just a fluke? If you're really enough, you'd be perfect, and you're not, are you? And you don't need to answer that question because you know the truth. You sense it, that flame within. Hold your focus, connecting even deeper to the truth as you hear the word objection. You wake up to the fact that the prosecution is reaching because perfection is never the goal. You may even whisper the word objection to yourself aloud, recognizing your choice to object to trains of thought that don't serve you. By just trying, by just showing up as yourself, mistakes, flukes, and all, you are growing. You are evolving. You're moving forward. You are continuing to relax and going deeper, connecting even more to that inner flame. To the judge and jury of your mind, the truth is, the only verdict here is that growth is happening right now in this very courtroom. Feel the sound of the gavel reverberate through you, clearing distortions of the prosecution's arguments. Each time the gavel strikes, it's like a pulse of clarity, cutting through the noise and dropping you deeper into that truth of who you are. Wake up to the strength of your case, bringing order to the court. Yet, as the prosecution continues, notice how their tactics shift. What if failure is just proof you're not good enough? Drop deeper into the truth. Judge and jury of your mind, the prosecution is clearly reaching. It's another textbook example of perfectionism. Wake up, call for order. The prosecution continues. Call it whatever you want, but isn't it just realism? What if this so-called growth you're talking about is just wishful thinking? Drop deeper into the truth. Judge and jury of your mind, this is not realism. It's fear dressed up as logic. Growth isn't wishful thinking. It's fact, proven by the evidence. The candle burned, the bridge was crossed, the key unlocked the door. The prosecution's argument is nothing more than a distraction from the truth. Progress is happening, and it's absolute. Hold the evidence of the key to your chest, just like you did before. Let the truth settle into your chest like a steady heartbeat. With every breath, feel the strength of your resilience growing deeper and stronger, sustained by the evidence of who you are, deep down, beyond the noise. Taking a deep breath in and out, and rest your case here, now. The judge announces a quick recess, and you may rise one more time, opening your eyes if it feels good, or you can continue to rest and sink even deeper into this truth of who you are. As you leave the courtroom, breathe in deeply, finding a bench in the hallway, and exhale as you settle down, letting go. You've witnessed for yourself how the prosecution tries to spin a false narrative, and you can recognize it even more now, moving forward. Every time you recognize it, you have space to consider another choice, another argument, another way of thinking. Every time you recognize it, every time you recognize that inner critic, the flame grows brighter, and more now, you are connected to the truth of who you really are deep within. Let's be clear, this isn't to sugarcoat anything. You may still feel emotion when you confront this inner critic, but don't let that deter you. Emotion is part of the process, so don't hold it in. Allow yourself the space to feel whatever it is you're feeling. Let it be a sign of continued growth as you move across that bridge to an even more authentic, real, strengthened version of you. Remember, you're not here to measure up to anyone else's definition of success. The only standard that matters is the one you set for yourself, and growth is happening right here, right now. Here's the truth. The courtroom has always been yours. The jury is you. Today, you've heard the arguments, felt the proof, and now you hold the power to deliver the closing argument and verdict as you face the world. On the count of 5, you'll walk back into the courtroom to face the jury of your mind and deliver closing arguments through the encouraging thoughts you tell yourself and the actions you take as you continue with the rest of your day. Each action you take in service of yourself and who you really are and what you really believe in, no matter how small, is evidence of a story far greater than the prosecution can ever try to conjure up. Waking up fully on the count of 5 as you rise from this experience. You rise, remembering the evidence, the candle, the bridge, the key. 1. You stand in front of the jury of your mind and you confidently land your closing arguments. You tell them about the moments of strength, courage, and authenticity that define who you are. 2. Feeling more and more energized, the truth ringing clear in every corner of the room. 3. And the jury can only deliver one verdict as you start to stretch, gently move your fingers and toes. You are worthy, you are enough, you are free. 4. The trial is over, but the journey doesn't end here. As you step out of the courtroom and into the light, feel the weight of the evidence in your heart, knowing it's always with you. This is your truth, and it's yours to carry forward into full awareness. 5. Wide awake, opening your eyes, fully alert, refreshed and grounded. 5. Wide awake now, feeling good and fully alert.